Hello everyone, this is Nick here with NP Gunsmith and Firearms located in Lewiston, New York. Our phone number is 716-481-7302. If you have any questions about the work that we are a full service gunsmith shop. Occasionally I make these videos just to show you some interesting things that are going on out there. Today I have a Springfield Hellcat Pro. We're going to do a trigger upgrade on this pistol here. So I'm just going to show you how to quickly break it down. We're going to replace the trigger and the sear spring, and then put it back together and retest the trigger pull. I know it takes, you usually got to run about 50 rounds or so through them before you really start to break in the new springs. So factory, these are pretty heavy. I put my tester on there, and it's between 7 to 8 pounds every time we tested it. So with that being said, we're going to break this down. I'm going to show you how to remove the trigger assembly, some little tricks that make it easier so you're not fighting. So that being said, first thing you do, make sure it's unloaded. Magazine's already out of this one. You can see firearms unloaded. Okay, so we're going to lock it open. Push up your takedown lever. Okay, slide forward, squeeze your trigger, take your slide off, and we will set that out of the way. So with that being said, we're going to, there's 3 pins here. There's a rubber attachment that's in the way of the one. We'll just fold it out of the way. 1 pin, 2, 3. We got to take down your lever takedown. There's an easier way to do it. A lot of people just grab it, twist it, and fight it to get it out. If you have a non-marring little pry bar, something like this, makes your life a lot easier. And you can put it down in a little 10 o'clock position. Get this in there, and you can just pop it right out of there. Pretty simple. Okay. And you just got to get it past the spring that's in there. Right there. Okay. Instead of fighting it all the way. Now we're going to grab our punches and see if we can push these pins out. 1, 2, and grab a bigger punch for your 3rd pin. It's not going to push out. So pull these pins out. Keep them in order. This pin here that I'm about to pull out, all right, your block is tapered. Okay, and I will show you why it's tapered once we pull it out. There's a spring here, and that taper helps you get past the spring. So if you go to put the wrong pin in there, you may fuck it up. And we're just gonna tap this pin real quick to get her to move. Simple. Okay, remove that pin, pull it out. Now we'll be careful. So there is a spring on here. I'll show you. This one you just pull straight up. Okay, very simple. Pull that straight up. So here's your spring that I'm talking about right here. So just be mindful that spring is there. And to pull out your trigger assembly and everything, you have to push forward. Push this forward and then pull straight up with it. Now there is a little capture washer in here that we're going to remove so we don't lose it. It's right here. It actually holds one of your pins in. So you see that little fucking thing? Everybody, maybe you can see it if I stick it in my hand. Right there. You don't want to lose it. And then your slide lock, you just set that aside. And then here we are. So to remove your trigger from your sear and everything, you have to push it up. There's little tabs on it, so it can only go one way. Pull it forward, pull it out. These are the little tabs I'm talking about, these little ears. And when you fold this out of the way, pull that down, you can see where they go in. Okay. So we're going to change this spring right here. Pretty simple, just on a little pin. You can slide it off of there and grab a little screwdriver. There's a little notch that the spring sits into. So we're going to slide it off the notch. Work the pin out. If it wants to come out. Now this pin, you can't mess it up. There's a big side and a small side. You can't screw that up when you put it back in there. Okay? However, you can screw up putting the sear in there, so you want to make sure you have you're paying attention when you're taking it apart, putting it back together. Here's our new spring right here. So we're just going to remove the old one. Carefully, you want to keep it in shape just in case you ever want to put it back in here. I'm going to grab a pick. Just use a pick. You can do it carefully without damaging it. Don't drop the new one like I just did. Grab your new spring, put it in place. We want to put this back together like so. Get our pin started. That section is done. So when we go put it back together, get it back in there. Now we're going to change the trigger. Okay, so we're going to drive out this little punch, this little pin right here. Works real good if you got a roll pin punch. And then we'll put on our new trigger. Okay. Just make sure you grab the right punch you want. So roll pin punches are great to have. You're going to see them. The more guns you work on, the more times you're going to see these roll pins. You don't need to drive it out all the way. You want to keep your trigger together for future, in case, like I said, in case you ever want to put it back in. You'll have your original stuff. Just want to drive it out enough to get out your trigger bar side. Set it and get your new one in place. It's almost there. Nope, just drove it in a little too far. Just gotta push it back through a little bit. All right, that is good to go. So now we will set our original stuff aside. We'll put that in a bag and save it. We will get our trigger assembly stuck back together. This is, some people say this is the hardest part, only because you got to line up your tabs in your block here, and you can't really get a grip on it to maneuver it around. So you just got to play with it the best you can. Get your tabs lined back up. There we go. You just gotta, you can see I'm trying to pinch this little tiny piece of metal in there, but we are back in position. We'll get our spring all the way in place. There we go. All right. And now we put the firearm back together. Okay. Get these tools out of the way. We don't need our little roll pin punches anymore. So we'll start by putting our trigger assembly back in. We're going to put in that little tiny washer that goes in this hole here. The one you don't want to lose. It's very important not to lose it. Drop it into place. Push it back all the way so your holes are lined up. I usually put this pin in right away just so it doesn't shift around on me. Should be able to just push it back in. Give it a little tap. Nothing crazy. We'll center them up when we're done. Now we will put in our block and our magazine catch, or slide lock. Don't want to lose any pins, any springs. Like so. Turn that down all the way in the back. There we go. Now this is where your taper pin comes in handy, because like I said, this spring is in the way of that hole. So that tapered pin, once you get it in there, just push right past that spring. So I'm going to center up these pins all when we're done. We'll get our, with this thicker pin for your trigger, you got to line up your trigger your slide lock. So you're gonna have to keep an eye on it. You don't just put it in there driving with a hammer. You want to be able to see what you're doing. Sometimes it helps to have just a little pick so you can move your slide lock around inside. There you go. And then you can push it all the way through. You should be able to push these pins in. Maybe you have to force them. Something's binding. Okay, this one, I'll just have to tap that one. Get it. There we go. It's all locked into place. Now we can put in our slide lock release lever. So, okay, now we're going to put our slide back on and make sure it works. Okay. All right. So now that is how you remove the trigger assembly on a Springfield Hellcat Pro. It's the same method on a Hellcat. Pretty simple. Like I said, you can't really screw these pins up. This one is tapered because it helps to push past the spring. Pretty simple. Just keep in mind there's that little lock washer in there. It's like a half spring that sits right inside here. Okay, you want to make sure you don't lose that, and you have your spring up in here that you don't want to lose. So now I'll take this one out to the range. I'll test it, make sure everything works properly. Actually, it's like I said, it takes about a box of ammo or so to really get these broken in. But let's see if there's any improvement at all. Below 7 to begin with, so. It's getting better, about a little over 6 pounds. So just with a couple pulls, it's already getting better. This kit says it should bring it down about 5 pounds, which is still heavy, but it's not my firearm. This is for a customer, so that is a heavy trigger pull, in my opinion. So, but that is how you take out the trigger assembly on these Springfield Hellcats. Hopefully this is helpful. Any questions? I'm here to, I'll take your calls. I have no problem helping out if anybody has questions. Again, phone number is 716-481-7302. It is for our shop. It's NP Gunsmith and Firearms. We are in Lewiston, New York. We're a full-service gunsmith shop. We also do have firearms and ammo for sale, along with accessories. So if you're in the area, feel free to look us up, give us a call, and we'll help you out if we can. That's all I got. Thank you.